Hi everyone, it's me again, Lena, and in this video I would like to give you an introduction to assignment for CSF. What this CSF means, I will explain to you right now. So please be careful, there are two different assignment 4s. So assignment 4 CSF means this is assignment 4 for computer science focused studies. So if you are studying computer science, information and computer engineering, or software engineering and management, this video is the correct one for you. If you're studying anything else, there is a different assignment. Please watch the A4 CSC video instead. All the general information will be included in both videos, so you do not need to watch the other one. Alright, so now let's get started with A4 CSF, which is what we call entertaining spice pretending. And your task is to implement a program for a card bluffing game for 2 players. First of all, you need to read a list of cards from a file. Then you need to distribute the cards to the players, and then the players take turns playing cards face down in the original game, but it's of course implemented in a certain way in the program. And then the players can lie about what they just played, or they can tell the truth. And there are certain rules for what needs to be played. So if a player does not have a card that fits the rules, they can just play a different card and lie about what this card shows. But if the opponent thinks that they are lying, they can challenge the card, and for winning challenges, the players get points. That's basically how the game works. The deadline for this assignment is the 15th of January at midnight, and the assignment is worth 40 points. This is much more than the previous assignments, and the assignment is also more work, so please take that into account and start early enough. What's new as well is that for A4 there is a minimum requirement. So to pass the course, you need to pass at least 50% of the public test cases. So you need to pass at least 4 out of 8 public test cases to pass the course. There's once again specifications. Of course, the general specifications are on the course website. Also relevant again, the memory management section, but there are some additional specifications for this assignment. First of all, each card must be stored as a struct. All cards must be stored on a heap. Then each row of cards, so these are hand cards the players have in their hands, and also the draw pile, where the players can get additional cards from, must be stored as a linked list. And once again, as the user input can be of arbitrary length, it must be read in dynamically using reallog. Yes. Okay, then let's get started with the example. First of all, I start the game with a certain configuration file, and this configuration file contains a list of cards. And each card has 2 characteristics. It has a value between 1 and 10, and then it has a certain spice. That's why the original game is called Spicy. And the 3 different spices are chili, pepper, and wasabi. And in this presentation, I've just used 3 different colors for them. So now here we can see this is the list of cards in the config file. And then first of all, I need to distribute 6 cards to each player. So in alternating order, I will give player 1 a card, player 2 a card, and so on. So I hand out all the cards from the config file until both players have 6 cards each. And then, since in the output the cards are always sorted, this is a good point to sort your hand cards. So the cards are sorted by ascending value and by spice. So first is always all the chili cards, then all the pepper cards, then all the wasabi cards. And then in ascending value within these, within each spice. And then the rest of the cards is just taken as they are from the config file. They are not sorted, and this is the draw pile. And so this is the top of the draw pile, so the first time a player draws a card, they will get this one. Okay, that's the distribution of cards, and now we need some game rules. So there are 3 different commands the players can use. They can play, which is to play a card. They can draw, which is to draw a card from the draw pile, and they can challenge, which is to challenge a card the opponent previously played. So if a player thinks that was a lie, then they can challenge this card. And then the value of a played card, there are certain rules about. Might be a little bit confusing because it says value up here, sorry. The first card played in a round must be any spice and have a value 1 to 3. And all cards played in this round must be the same spice. So with the first card, you set which spice is played in this round. And also the next played card always needs to be higher than the previous one. So if, for example, the first card played was one of wasabi type, then the next card always needs to be a wasabi again, and it needs to have a higher value than 1, which is pretty easy. There's one exception to that. If the next card is, if the previous card was a 10, then there's no values that are higher because the cards only have value 1 to 10. So then the next card needs to be have a value 1 to 3 again. So it's the same as at the beginning of the round, value 1 to 3, but you still need to keep the same spice. Don't worry, I will show you an example later, which will probably make this easier to understand. But now we come to the part where this is a bluffing game. So in the original game, cards are played face down, and you tell the other player what you just played. So the player will not your opponent will not actually know what you really played. So if I don't have a card that follows these rules I just described, I can just choose any card from my hands, put it down face down, and then lie about what it says. And my lie, of course, needs to follow the rules, but it does not have to match what I actually played. It can match what I actually played, but it does not have to. So now, after I've put down a card, the opponent has a chance to challenge this card. So if the opponent thinks that I am lying, they can challenge either the spice or the value. So they will say, I think the spice is not correct. What you said is not correct. And then in the real game, I would open up the card and show them either that it matches or show them, yeah, they caught me in a lie, the spice does not match. And the player who wins the challenge gets points, and after a challenge, a new round starts with where the spice can be set anew with a first card, etc. The game ends when the draw pile is empty, and there are some additional rules for when certain commands can or must be used, which are described in more detail in the description. For example, if there is no card played yet, I cannot challenge it, which makes sense because there's no card to challenge. All right, so let's take a closer look at an example. As I said, the player can choose between play, draw, and challenge. So here we have the first turn of a round. In this case, we start with player 1. And there is no card has been played yet, so this is empty up here. There have been no cards played this round. This is just 0, and then we can see the player's hand cards. So for following the rules, the first card played in this round must be 1 to 3. So now player 1 does not have any cards with value 1 to 3. So in this case, player 1 needs to lie. So they would use a play command and then give as a first parameter a real card from the hand cards. This is what they actually want to put down. And then as a second parameter, they would tell a lie or match this one if it follows the rules. But in this case, they would need to lie. So the second parameter tells you what I want to play this real card as, what I want to pretend that it shows. So this one, the second parameter, needs to follow the rules. Yeah, and in this case it does because it's value 1 to 3, any spice. So that works. Then it's the other player's turn. So the other player will see the lie up here in the latest played card. This is to represent the players telling each other what they are playing. But somewhere in the background, the real card still needs to be saved because you need it for checks if it is challenged. Yeah. But this information will not be visible to the second player. I mean, in this case, it does not really work like that because you can see which commands the other player put in. But for a real game, this would be implemented in a way where you cannot see each other's commands. Then the cards played this round. This is just a counter how many cards have been played. And then once again, we see player 2's hand cards. So, and in this case, player 2 thinks, oh yeah, I do not think that player 1 had a card with that value for some reason. So that's suspicious. And they want to challenge this card. So they want to challenge, they can either challenge the value or the spice, not both. And in this case, they decide to challenge the value. And then there will be a check if the latest played card really had that same value. And in this case, the value does not match. So the player 2's challenge was successful and player 2 gets points. If the value did match, then the challenge was not successful and player 1 gets points. So this is how it works with the challenges. Also, it does not matter if the spice matches. So if player 2 just challenges the value, then the spice can be anything. It can match or it cannot match. It does not influence how the challenge is scored. Then after challenge, the round ends. And some cards are drawn, which is described in the assignment description. And the loser of the challenge starts the next round. So now we have no latest played card because the round just started. There are no cards played this round, so this is 0. Player 1 lost the challenge, so they got some more cards from the draw pile. And then once again, the value of the first card in this round must be 1 to 3, and it must be any spice. So player 1 checks their cards, and there's once again not a 1 to 3, but they just lost the challenge, so maybe they do not want to lie again. So they think, maybe I will get some better cards. So they use the draw command to get a card from the draw pile. So this is just added to their hand cards, and then it's the other player's turn. And player 2, once again, they cannot challenge because there's no latest played card. They do not have a card that can be played as a first card in round 1 to 3. Let's assume they also do not want to lie at this moment, and they want to draw a card. So they also use the draw command, and then they get a card from the draw pile. And drawing the last card immediately ends the game. And when the game ends, the player with the most points wins. So this is the example on the slides. Just some hints on how you can get started with this assignment. First of all, you need to define your card structs. And then, because you're working with linked lists, there are some functions that you will definitely need. Some functionality to add a card to a linked list, to remove a card from a linked list, and to print a linked list of cards. Then you need some way to parse the config file, and then some way to do sorting. Like you need to decide, do you want to have a separate sorting function? Do you want to do it during parsing, after parsing? Do you want to do it during printing maybe? I don't know, it depends on how you implement the assignment. All right, that's it for the example. So now I will just show you how you can execute this and what it looks like. All right, so once again, I'm in the repository. And I can just, as usual, use make run to open up to start the game. All right, so I don't know if this is the same example as in the slides, but latest played cards, there's nothing, I cannot do challenge. I'll show you. If I do challenge, for example, I want to challenge the spice, it will tell me I cannot challenge at the moment because there is no card played. So instead, I'm just gonna play, yeah, let's play this 2 wasabi, and because it works for the rules, I'm gonna play it as a 2 wasabi. Let's assume player 2 thinks this must be a lie. So they will then challenge, and they will challenge the value. Yeah, but in this case it was not a lie, the value matches. This is 2 and 2. Also tells you the value matches, and this means that player 2's challenge failed and player 1 gets a point. The points depend on how many cards have already played in a round. And then after the challenge, the next round starts. Player 2 failed the challenge, so player 2 will start the next round. Let's do... I have lots of pepper, right? Yes. Play... I will do 1p as 1p. Do I have anything? Yes, I can do... now I need a card that is also a pepper, and the value must be higher than 1. So I have one of those. Let's do this one. Player 2 needs to have a pepper card that is higher than 6. This example is really easy because there's no need to lie. I'm gonna play it so far that I need to lie, alright? So I need to play I can play a 7. So player 1 does player 1 have a card that is higher than 7 and pepper? Yes. Let's do 9p as 9p. Yeah, and now player 2 cannot does not have a card where they do not have to lie. Also, they do not want to draw a card because they already have lots of cards, so they will just play... Which one do we want to play? Let's say I will play this 8p, which I have, as a 10p. So I pretend now that this is a 10 pepper. Alright, and I mean, it's easy now. I'm just gonna pretend, yes, player 2 was very bad at lying and I figured this out, and then I can do challenge value. Alright, yep, and then I challenged the value. The challenge was successful because the value doesn't match. Player 1 gets 5 points because 5 cards have already been played this round. And then all points are added together. And then there were some cards drawn in the background because after a challenge you always draw cards. And this caused the draw pile to be empty and ended the game. So player 1 wins the game. You can also do, of course, make test. Taking some time. Oh, I did not pass one of the test cases. That's great. Yeah. There's an error in this. We will fix it before the assignment is handed out. Sorry for that. But you will get a test report and it will work. All right. Sorry for this error. If you have any further questions, please ask them via Discord, via the A4 CSF forum. You can also ask in person at the question hours, which are currently planned for the 9th of January. Once again, announcements will be via Discord, and as I mentioned already, this is a bigger assignment, so please start early, and of course, no plagiarism. Additionally, your repositories will be created automatically, and you should get the correct assignment. But if you think that somehow there's an error and you did not get the assignment that matches the video you just watched, please tell us right away before you start implementing. There should not be any problems, but if there is an error, please tell us. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening and good luck for the assignment. Bye.